Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this Monday morning. We're in Thanksgiving week, and I know a lot of folks excited. And if you're like me, you're not going to eat the next day or two, so you can really have a lot to eat on Thanksgiving Day. We'll talk more about that in the next 2 days. Y'all send some thankfulness, what you're thankful for, send them in to me, and I'll read them on the show the rest of this week. Now, looking at the weather today is brought to us, of course, by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, Drew Pollard and his hard-working crew, taking care of everyday comfort needs. High today, 74, low 64. Water temperature at the end of the pier right at 71 degrees. On Monday, we'd like to do the Monday moon forecast. We pretty well know what's going to happen with the chart. It's brought to us by Panama City, Coca-Cola, and we're right at half a moon coming in tonight. And it's going to be just going to be a pretty rest of this month. The weather's going to be nice. It's going to be nice and cool, and looking forward to it. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn right here on 23rd Street. We're looking at today is great tides. Tomorrow iffy, and then the next 3 or 4 days through Thanksgiving, neat tides. But this Saturday will be some strong tides. So go ahead and plan accordingly as to how you want to fish these tides. But today is some really good tides today. Our wind direction will be coming out of the southeast at about 13, it looks like. I'm going to take a break, come back with our special guest. Welcome back, and welcome to our guest this morning. He's been on the show before, about 2 years ago. This is Gil Price from Mossy Head Bait Company. Welcome back.
Thank you, Winston. Appreciate you having me on your show.
Always glad to have you driving all the way down up there from North Walton County, and we're just always glad to have him because he has such a unique story to tell with the baits and all. But first, I was asking, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
Mobile, Alabama.
And I know that was some fine fishing over there.
Tell you what, going out to Dolphin Island, catching all the fish out there in that Mississippi Sound, and then coming back into the rivers there at the Mobile Causeway where all that comes in. I mean, it was just back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. It was great. You
learned growing up and how the crabs and the fish and the nature. So
exactly right. I mean, I grew up on the water my whole life. My grandma, she's the one that got me involved and kept me involved, kept me out of trouble all the way up until the time I joined the Air Force. And
how about that?
Kind of left Mobile.
Grandmothers are special. I mean, they really
right,
are.
Exactly. My grandma Inez was a very special person.
Awesome.
She's the one that taught me that go hook trick for mullet.
Did she really?
That's right.
No kidding. That goes way back then, doesn't it?
Goes way back.
That's probably back during the Depression when she was fishing and probably catching fish to eat.
There was hardly any sports fishing back then.
Yeah.
It's you went fishing and put food on the table.
Exactly. And then you joined the Air Force and made a career out of the Air Force.
Made a career out of the Air Force, did 26 in the Air Force, and then did a year as a deputy in Santa Rosa County. Discovered, I was in my late 40s then. I'm going like, nah, that's a young man's game. So I left that and then went back to government civil service and gave another 20 years. So
awesome.
I gave 46 years government guy.
And all this time, you still doing some fishing and outdoor stuff all along when you get some time?
Every chance I got. And now that I'm retired, and I just run a little business, I have a lot of time.
Well, the Mossy Head Bait Company, tell us how that started. It's a cool story. Like I say, been on time or two times before, actually, over these last 4 years. And it's just it's fascinating what he's done. And it's such a great idea. And so go ahead with that.
Well, I mean, it started, I was a sheephead guy. I love fishing for sheephead. Mm-hmm. And people that fish for sheephead know that like mussels, clams, and oysters are kind of like the top bait for them. But because of the difficulty of keeping them on the hook, most people wouldn't use them. So they would, use the standard live shrimp, fiddler crabs, mole crabs, sand fleas, that sort of thing. Because you could keep them on the hook.
Uh-huh.
Well, anyway, I kept fiddling and finally come up with an idea, an easy way to encapsulate those soft baits in a mesh. Mm-hmm. And that's how it all started. And fishing under Destin Bridge for many, many years, I would be under there in wintertime fishing, and I would just be wearing the sheephead out, and other anglers would be fishing around me. They would be catching them too, but I was getting them 5 to 1.
Whoa!
Yeah, so I would always get that question.
What are you doing?
What are you doing
Yeah.
that we're not doing, you know? And but after I retired the second time, you know, I told the wife, I said, you know, hey, you know, might be able to do something with this. And that's how it all started.
No kidding.
Yeah, exactly. So it mainly selling these little bags, and we went all the way up to large to put a cigar mint in and stuff like that for the guys out in the Gulf. And it all worked out really well, but all along my main goal is I wanted to create a lure, a proper lure that you could bait in. And I tell you, I struggled with that, and I worked and worked and worked. Some of the monstrosities I come up with, but finally, it was all about finding the right material. Okay, finally, I came across a mesh that was translucent, strong, and it just worked out to be the perfect material. So I started working with that about 2 years ago, and kept working with it, and I came up now with a variety of different types of lures. 2 varieties. One we call the stuffed minnow, and it comes in various sizes. And the other one is what we call a jig jacket.
Okay.
Both those, the jig is one of the most common lures that are used to fish. So imagine you can use and put a curly tail on a jig, but you're also able to put bait in there just in front of that curly tail or paddle tail.
Yeah.
So putting bait in the lure and still having a proper lure that just looks just about like any other lure made the difference.
That's
made the
cool.
Difference. So.
And he brought Gil brought some of the stuff with him. What I love about this story, we're talking about field testing. You know, all the companies when they create and invent something, they have field tests. Well, here this man, he's field testing on his own and finding out actually what works and what don't work, because you had some things didn't work.
Well, you've had J.B. Hillard on the show before, right?
Yes.
And me and J.B. are friends, and we fish together a lot. And J.B. is an upfront, very honest fellow, okay? So he became like my quality controller, okay? So, and we would go out and test the lures together, and if I got the nod from J.B., then I would pursue along with that line, you know, because the guy is just a phenomenal fisherman.
He is.
He's a phenomenal fisherman, and he's got the knack, and he just knows what works and doesn't work. So he really helped me as far as giving me some ideas what he thought about things. So that helped me too.
That's great. So you see the background on coming on. 2 years ago when you were on the show, you were on the verge of really getting some things done. And we talked
right.
The last 2 years, you really sort of processed it out,
right.
fine-tuned it.
It fine-tuned it, and we've got it now. We've got jigs that are small enough, jig jackets that are small enough to catch crappie. Okay. And we progress from there all the way up to jigs that weigh 8 ounces.
Wow.
That you can go out in the Gulf. And it's all about the bait inside the jig that makes it all the difference in the world. Okay. That's what puts us apart from everybody else.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break and come back with Gil and show you what we're talking about. So we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Today we're Gil Price from the Mossy Head Bait Company. And where's the location of the Mossy Head Bait Company?
Well, I'm in Mossy Head, Florida.
There you go.
Okay, so
what a creative name.
Yeah, when I went and got my logo and everything, you know, went through the formal process to get a logo. My patent lawyer, he said, well, you know, you may have some trouble, you know, from Mossy Oak, Mossy Oak. Okay. But apparently Mossy Head and Mossy Oak are not close enough together to ruffle anybody's feathers. So.
Good deal. So you have, all this is patented. You have a patent?
Yeah, it's all patented. And I'll tell everybody now that if you ever want to do a patent, you're going to have to really believe in what you're doing. Yeah. You got to really believe in what you're doing, because it's a long road. It takes about 3 to 5 years to get one. And it's money the whole long way.
Oh my goodness,
I've
heard that.
It's a long way, it is.
Wow.
So I was just tickled pink when, after, I think it was right at 5 years, you know, the patent came back approved. So
wow,
that's great. That
is great. So okay, so we got it all developed, and also show us some of the things you have here, okay?
Okay, we'll start out, we'll go from little to big.
Okay.
Follow that. Okay, so here's one that we use. That's for crappie.
Okay, so let's see. I've got a picture of that too. So this is what it's holding up, and then so the bait. So tell us the makeup of it. So.
Okay, well that's I think that's a 1/8 ounce jig, and you'll see the translucent mesh.
Yeah, right there.
That's surrounding the jig,
Okay.
and in front of the actual little curly tail, you see that material. Well, that is crappie nibbles.
Okay.
So the way it works is you take the tail almost off the hook, not quite, and then you put the crappie nibbles inside, and then you put the tail back on, and you're ready to go.
So that gives that smell. I mean, that's the beauty of it. And it's
Absolutely.
in that mesh.
So you know when you're sitting fishing for crappie and you're maybe using a bobber or whatever, and you're sitting in one spot, and you move the jig a little bit and you let it sit still. Well, the big difference in this and a regular crappie jig is that, especially when it's sitting still, it is putting out odor. It's putting the odor out. So when the crappie comes up and investigate, that odor gives it that little extra, yeah, I'm going to take this.
Cool.
You know, so it
That
really
is
works
cool.
out. And me and JB has been over in the backwaters of the Choctawhatchee trying to lure out. We've caught some really nice crappie on
So
it.
this has the JB seal of approval.
It has, well, I would say yes, but now I'm talking for him.
No, he will.
Yes,
We've talked about it before. He's crazy about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it works, and it kind of gives you the edge, especially when the crappie are finicky, which they are a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the small size.
That's the small size.
So,
and then that's the jig. So that's the jig jacket.
jig jacket.
Right, and it goes all the way up
Oh my goodness.
to that size. So you got a much tougher material here.
Okay.
Very big jig, of course. This is for out in the Gulf, Pacific, Atlantic, wherever you're fishing, whatever you're fishing for. And here in the back, that is a bait portal. You can see that right there. And this elastic band is what keeps the bait in there. And basically, you take a big bait injector that we sell, and you grind your bait up, and you put it in the injector, you put it in there, and you fill this whole thing up with bait.
The injector pushes it in there.
Injector pushes it in there, and you're all ready to go. Now, you can also buy you a manual jerky gun, or even a caulking gun. All of that will work with this. Okay. So those are much larger, holds a lot more bait. If you got 3 or 4 people in the boat, so it works out real well. And the top recommended bait for this is nothing but shrimp.
There you go. Shrimp.
You can get shrimp 24/7, 365 days a year. You don't have to worry about it. You can fix all this up the night before, put it on ice, throw it in the fridge.
The big thing is staying.
You're ready to go.
It's staying in there. I mean, because summertime surf fishing with shrimp, it'll come off and
exactly right. And I've caught just about everything you can imagine out there in the Gulf: tuna, amberjack, grouper, snapper, cobia. I've caught it all on this system.
That's cool.
And it's just on shrimp.
Yep.
So,
That's awesome.
yep.
That's awesome.
And one of the baits that we use now this is the stuffed minnow.
Okay, that's
This
a
is
little
a
bigger
variety.
than a jig,
This is
right?
one variety of a stuffed minnow.
Okay, here it is. Here, I took a picture of it right during the commercial break. That's the size of it compared to the
Right.
jig.
Now
okay?
this is the painted variety, okay? And the way it works is there's actually a weight on the inside here. There's a bullet weight in there.
Okay.
So what you do is, this is all a part. You take your fishing line, you double it over, you push it through the front, it comes out the back, so now it's on your line, it slides up and down your line. Okay, so now you put your bullet weight on, bullet weight of choice if you want to make it real light or real heavy. This thing will go all the way up to a 1/4 ounce bullet weight. And then you put the bullet weight on, you put your hook on, and of course your hook's on the line, and then it goes in just like that.
How about that?
So there you go.
Is that not cool?
And then when you want to rebait it, you just comes out, remember it just slides up the line, put the bait in, pull the line, it all goes back together again.
How about that?
Yeah. So that's the minnow. This is another variety of it right here. This is the clear version, a clear jacket. And this is the one that we sell the most.
It's a clear jacket, okay.
Okay. And you can see how translucent that is. I mean, you can see my finger right through it.
Okay.
Very translucent. It's very flexible.
Oh.
It's very strong. Okay. And it all works the same. Double the line, put it through there, put your weight on, tie the hook on, and it works the same, just like that.
How about that?
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
So that's another
Okay.
version of it right there.
All right, so listen, we're going to take a break. We have some pictures coming. We'll have a little 6-minute video. I'm going to show that maybe tomorrow or the next day, the video he brought, because I want to keep talking to Gil as long as we can because there's so much good information. So let's take a final break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Sitting here with our guests. Before we get back to our guests, let's take a look at our fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. Our time, 10:41 to 12:41, right in the middle of the day. Here with Gil Price from Mossy Head Bait Company, inventor, invented this, got a patent on it, and this is a great fishing product, and I'm so proud to share it with our viewing audience because I know some of y'all have started this 2 years ago when they're doing some things with the catfish in different ways, and so now it's an amazing product. So tell us a little bit more about it. Hey, let's talk about this one real quick. Hold that one up. I got a picture of this. This is a special order one. Okay, I got a picture of it. I just took a picture during the break. See,
Yeah. That's a jig jacket with a spinner on the back.
special order.
Yep.
That will catch a redfish in a heartbeat. I can promise you. Oh, okay. Before we get back to the, let's show. He brought some proof of what all he's been catching with this. Let's look at the pictures real quick. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, that's an amberjack. I got him on the big jig. Just using shrimp.
That big jig you just showed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And here it is.
Now there's a picture of it out in the Gulf, filled with bait, and we're getting ready to go down.
Man, I can see an amberjack getting that. Oh, this one.
Yeah, there's the small jig. Okay, that's a 1/8.
Okay.
That's a trout.
All right.
That's a speck.
Up on the river
Yeah,
now,
that's
JB.
up on Blackwater, yeah.
Blackwater River. I love that place.
And there's a crappie. There's JB up in the front of the boat. You can only see the back of his head. But
Okay, here is the Mossy Head Bait Company, and of course you go online, and this is Mossy Head Bait Company, and it's got it's a wrap fishing system, and it tells all about it there. So look them up, and we'll tell you later how to get these. But go ahead with it.
Yep, fastest way to find us is just Google Mossy Head Bait Company and take you right to my website.
That's what I just did during the break. Google, okay, so
Yeah.
that's it. Okay, so
let's say you want to, we're talking about putting bait in there. Well, what bait do you put in there?
okay,
Okay, so if I'm showing you the little crappie jig, well, I use crappie nibbles. Okay, very well known bait. It's made by Berkeley. It's called power bait. I think a lot of panfish guys are familiar with this.
they've been field tested a lot.
Okay, so that's what we use for that. But this also works for trout. Also works for trout. Now, the power bait also makes trout nibbles, but I have found the crappie nibbles work just about as well as the trout nibbles when it comes to putting bait in our smaller jigs, the smaller stuffed minnows.
Cool.
Okay, so that works very well. When you start sizing up, to a jig about this size, or a stuffed minnow about that size, then you can buy this product right here. Now this is a local company out of Navarre, okay, Fish Gum. And there's another product that's kind of nationwide, and it's called Fish Bites.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. The Fish Bite people, I watched their development, and they're from St. Augustine. It's a family-owned business out of St. Augustine, and they've been around a while.
So most people know it comes in a strip,
Yeah.
okay? And with this product, what you do is you take a pair of scissors and you cut those strips, and then you just start cutting small pieces off, and you take that out, and you just stuff that with that, either fish gum or
This video
fish
we're going to
bites.
show you later on this week, it shows him cutting up a little strip like that. That's good.
Right, now if you want to put natural bait in there,
Okay.
and the natural bait that I recommend would be shrimp because it's so easily available, okay?
Yeah.
Now, we sell injectors, okay, with these products if you want to use natural bait. So all you got to do is remember when you cut your shrimp up, it has to be a little bit smaller than, you know, the nozzle, okay? And it just goes in just like that. You fill her up.
How about that? So it's
Yep.
all custom made to fit and all that. So
Everything custom made to fit. And so that's the jig jacket, that's what that's called. And the other one is called a stuffed minnow. So that's the two varieties.
Okay.
Okay. Now we also sell, this is the jackets, the jig jackets for the larger lures, okay? And we don't sell the jigs.
Right.
We just sell the jackets, okay?
Right.
So that's basically it, and this is what you would be buying. And it fits all sorts of jigs, okay? Here's two different varieties. And of course, this one here, if you were like after really big redfish, that would work. Work for snapper, that sort of thing. You size up. Now, this is the same as this, I just cut it to fit.
Okay.
Cut it to fit. So this is the 4-ounce jig. This is the 3, you know, and that's 3 ounces is about the smallest.
Yeah.
You could go with this product.
But you can customize it according to what jig you have. Just cut off the size you need.
Right, and all you do is when you slip that on there, you'll notice that it's just a rubber band. So you put it in, and you just take the rubber band, wrap it around, and it's on there. It's on there, and it has the bait portal, just like the real big one here.
One of the things I love about this here is an individual person will come up with this invention and all, does it all himself.
Yeah.
All these big companies have these big research people and all that, and they do a great job. But here he is, a local guy doing this. So he just...
So there you go. I mean, when you want to put the bait in there, just fill it right up. It'll look just like that picture that you showed them.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Gil, we're about to run out of time. I knew we would. I appreciate you driving all the way down from Mossy Head. And folks, I want to encourage you to try this. I guarantee you, this is a great idea. Great idea. I know it's working. J.B. Hillard, he catches a lot of fish with it, and I know you have too. And
Right.
We're going to show the video in the next couple of days of them catching fish.
And the last thing I'll tell you is I am working on one other product, and it's an extremely unique weedless hook. Okay. And it's designed for brim fishermen.
All right, you got to come back on the show and talk about it, okay? All right, thank you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. We appreciate your viewership. Do something good today for your fellow man. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.